want to show you how important clean water is and what it does for you. I have a little probe light here, and this little light just has a little Christmas light on top of it. I took some tap water and put it in this fish bowl. If I put this probe, which by the way just has 2 copper lines off of this electrical light, and if I drop it down into this tap water, it lights up this bowl, or lights up the light, showing you that tap water is an excellent conductor of electricity. How come? Because all of these solids are in that water. They're all metals and minerals and whatnot, and so they're helping almost to form another copper line between these 2 lines just by dropping it in the water. Now, I turn around and I happen to bring some distilled water, and so if I pour some distilled water in a distilled water, the same type of container, and I take this probe and put it over here, what happens? It doesn't light up because there's no conductance in it. There's no way that it could light up because there's no solids in there. But what happens if I turn around and I wash my hands in this water? Okay, maybe I ought to take it out and do it for you. Let me just pick my fingernails and put them in there and get some of that in there. And then maybe I ought to do kind of like Mother Nature does. I ought to take and put some dirty water in there, something that does. I ought to shake a little bit of this up and maybe put a cap full of that in there. Okay, something like that. And stir it all about, because after all, you all drink this water over here, don't you? Tap water? So maybe I ought to just get a couple glasses. Can you just give me a couple glasses? And we'll just pour this in and have a drink. How about that? Does that sound like a good idea?
I gotta go home.
Would anybody drink this? Probably not. Never mind, Clark. Nobody wants to drink. But let's face it. That's what your city, that's what's happening now. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll act like a water treatment plant, and we'll come over here and get some of these chemicals, because most of you don't know this is going on behind the scene, and we'll pour a little of these chemicals in there, and we'll just turn around and stir it up just like the city does, and by George, look what's happening. Oh my goodness. Let's pass out. Now get the glasses. Okay? See what's happened? Now that's exactly what your city's doing. But guess what? If we take the total dissolved solids over here, turn it on, it's at 0, right? And we come in here and we test these solids. What's the reading on that? Oh, it went down. It's 473.
That tastes better than our tap water.
Okay, look real quick. 473 parts per million. Just from me picking my fingernails and from me throwing a cap full of this tap water in there. Okay, and I did pour in a tiny little bit of food coloring. Okay, and then I turned around and used some chlorine and cleared it right back up. You see what we did? Now,
Light up now?
oh yeah, by the way, let's see if it lights up now. Ha! Look at that. So we've got enough solids in there to conduct electricity, but is it really good water now? Absolutely not. So you see why it's so important to take your pick on filtering water and cleaning your water. Purifying it so that it is clear and it doesn't do what that does. Both of those fish tanks right now will cause all the diseases in the world. They'll give you bone spurs, arthritis, kidney stone, all of those things, because there's too much hardness in that water, just like Dr. Mayo says on that statement there. All right? So, I guess we're ready. Who wants to buy one? You know, that's the point of the whole thing, is to help you understand. It's really just a matter of, can you afford to clean your water? That's what it boils down to. I brought a little bit from Ogden City. This is really sad, folks. This is from my town here. But we distilled 50 gallons of water. Now that's a lot of water. I mean, let's face it. And we said, let's save all the sediments that's in 50 gallons and put it in a jug. So every time we cleaned the machine, we'd put it in here, and we had a little bit at 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 and 50. And at the end of 50 gallons, I started figuring this out. Even if you had a healthy body that could pass and eliminate well, if I had to try to get rid of that after every 50 gallons of tap water, I would really be in trouble. I think I'd be in trouble.
It's like pouring sand down your gasoline tank.
That's exactly right. Right down your gasoline tank. So it's very, very important. And today, I'll tell you what, it's that simple. You could pick up a little filter like that and literally $400, and you'd totally start saving everything that's at risk in your water program at home. A distiller like this is about $1,100. I just put one in your home not too long ago, right? Mm-hmm. And it was almost $3,000. So we have different levels of those types of things. And I think you see this one right here. If any of you have an interest, I'll give you some, but I'll just show you 3 different ones just so you can get an idea of how they work. This is the little mini classic here. Retail about $1,100, does a gallon a day, okay? Here's one that does about 7 gallons a day, called a midi classic, and it's about $1,500 retail. And then there's what we call the Mega Classic. This is the one I have in my home, the one that Christy has in her home. And by the way, for 11 years, I used this one because I couldn't afford one of these. Okay, when you could finally afford one, this is the Cadillac, this is the Rolls Royce of water purification. You can land up putting it in your home, sort of like this picture here, where it goes down in the laundry room. The Mega Classic, this one has its own pumping station in it. It's self-cleaning, it's self-steaming, it does a lot of things that these others won't do. But you can land up putting it down in the basement and running the water up to your sink and over to your ice maker, and everywhere that you use water you can put a spigot and have drinking water wherever you want it, even in the bathroom if you were willing to run the lines up there. Okay, so it's fabulous. But in any case, that's a little over $3,000 if you had to buy one retail. Anyway, that kind of concludes what I had to share with you about water. There's many ways for you to get your water checked. Nature Sunshine Products in Provo, Utah has a little kit that you can purchase. One that says source tap water, another one that says your filtered water, however you've chosen to do it. We hope that you choose to do it with RO, but you may, because you can't afford it, choose another form of filtration. Or you may have the resources to afford the King Daddy of filtration. In any case, this kit allows you to mail these samples off to Ozark Laboratory in Arkansas, and it tells you, here's the analysis on your tap water. The one I'm doing here is kind of crude, just doing total dissolved solids. It would be nice to know every chemical that's in your water in your area. And this one then turns around and does the same analysis when you're done running the water through your filtration system. So those are fine.
What does it cost to have it tested like that?
So, you know, Gene, the last time I did it was about $30 to have my water tested. And it's been a couple years since I sent mine off. But it was about $30 to have it analyzed. And I think you can order the kits out of the price list for very reasonable, $13, $14 to get those kits.
The only thing I'm hesitating about now is that Gullies make soda pop. Rather than drink my water, I think I'll get back on.
Yeah.
On soda pop, huh? Well, you might as well if you're drinking 300 parts per million, you know. I did a radio show today.
Oh, hey, I was going to say, Al, that was great.
Did you like that?
Man, they sound, you and Laura and Bob, what a team.
That's our first radio show. You know?
Was it first?
Yeah, well, we
Hey,
actually did one the week before.
You sounded like pros.
But I'll tell you what, tune in to AM 1010, which is KIQ Radio. We just bought a year's worth of time to try to help teach the public of what we know about health items. And so we bought a year's worth of time, and we're going to do it every Thursday at 12 o'clock high noon, Thursday, AM 1010. And part of what I said today was Coke's not too bad. And one of the reasons I said it is because the Highway Patrol told me that they use Coca-Cola to get rid of blood on the pavement. and then one of these truckers that called me up, he said that he uses Coke to get the rust off of the lug nuts on his truck.
So why doesn't that do the same thing to your system?
It will.
And it's good to get the corrosion around your battery cable.
That's right, battery cable. So I mean, there's a good purpose for Coke. I tell everybody to use Coke, you know.